Welcome to a presentation about finished goods liquidity and how manufacturing companies, trading companies and speculators may squeeze efficiency from the global outbound supply chain. This is a short presentation and strips away surrounding theory, and so it is being referred to as a grassroots presentation. The presentation is aimed at finance managers, global sales order managers and numerous other organisations who facilitate finished goods global trading. Such organisations could include solicitors, accountants, logistics service companies, VAT and duty experts, supply chain management consultants, ERP systems vendors, and so on. After working between the business and IT as a business relationship manager for a luxury brand automobile manufacturer, and also spending a few decades creating business designs and implementing enterprise systems, this presentation collates different theories and experiences into something that is perhaps quite unique. This presentation identifies why finished goods liquidity is important. Much more detailed information is available from me, Stuart Muscat, regarding how to go about increased finished goods liquidity. If you would like further information, then simply send me, Stuart Muscat, an email using s.muscat@ntlworld.com. Thank you. Finished goods liquidity concepts have been stripped back to 4 slides that contain the main content of this presentation and take approximately 10 minutes to see, and if your presentation device has sound, to listen to. The presentation content starts with a look at external financial market influences on a company with a slide titled Bubbles, Bursts, Bailouts, Bankruptcy. The second slide identifies the damaging effects of aging stock and why it is very important to have controlled transparency through the finished goods aging process. The asset conversion process from money to product to money should, in an ideal world, happen without hindrance. The next slide sizes the potential opportunity by asking who needs to look at liquidity the most. The purpose of this slide is to raise your awareness and hopefully gain your interest that you contact us at StuNet Limited. The fourth and final slide introduces the products and capabilities available from StuNet Limited. Financial market bubbles and bursts are nothing new. We can almost be certain that they are here to stay. The improbability is where and not if a crisis will happen again. As far as the 2008 global financial crisis went, loans to students and for residential property mortgages, for example, were securitized and re-securitized. These financial products were complex, but while the market grew, there were very large profits to be made. When the market became saturated and customers began to default on their payments, serious problems began to happen. Financial institutions held products that they couldn't sell. They received sharply falling revenues and still had to pay for their products to be serviced. Capital reserves started to be used in order to cover their cost base, which meant that there were decreasing levels of short-term loans to keep supply chains running. What started as a liquidity problem turned quickly into a capital problem for the financial institutions. Banks refused to loan each other through fear of other banks being overexposed. A process of contagion followed the route set by the securitization process. Viable non-finance companies faced ruin because credit was no longer available. In the UK, the government stepped in to save the situation with a programme of quantitative easing and state ownership of banks through a B-share purchasing scheme. People were worried about losing their savings. It could have been a whole lot worse. What can we learn from these bubbles and bursts? Well, we must minimise the need for external liquidity as much as possible. As soon as something is made, sell it. In a global context, this is not possible, or at least not easy, because of the lead times involved. So our sales process must be mobile and efficient. During the design process, finished goods are homogenized to target markets. This process ensures products are localized to meet the needs of customers in each market. A lawnmower in Australia is likely to be of more robust construction than one made for the Netherlands. If forecasts are right, then all sales will happen through company-defined and perhaps a wholly owned outbound supply chains. The real world isn't so simple, and so we don't have to look far for credible references stating that markets are increasingly volatile and forecasting is difficult to get right. As finished goods are held in stock over time, customer requirements change,
products become less desirable, products become less liquid, and if action isn't taken, then finished goods stock levels become too high. If finished goods are not sold in a defined timescale, then they attract sales incentives in the form of discounts, finance deals, or special offers. If the stock still doesn't sell, external channels are sought, which increases the visibility of unsold products to the wider market. The potential for receiving anywhere near the recommended retail price becomes less as the product moves towards public disposal. Too much aging stock across a product portfolio could cause unrecoverable damage to the brand image, and the company's costs may not be covered by the less valued product. The point of this slide is therefore that large organisations spend a lot of money maintaining their brand identity through the use of advertisements and sales incentives. Any unsold finished goods wastes valuable resources and damages the brand. It is far more desirable to keep finished goods mobile within a company's own outbound supply chain than it is escalating through disposal channels. How to maximise finished goods mobility and speed is discussed in a book written by Stuart Muscat and encapsulated in a finished goods website created by Stuart Muscat also. The book has references to all source information and explains in detail the various subject areas included in this presentation. The website is available as a code purchase, license, or software as a service.
I am looking to state clearly and without doubt what the scale of opportunity is around finished goods trading. To begin with, a questionnaire was sent out to an industry sample with the intention of obtaining direct results that could represent the global trading population. For the purposes of this presentation, an alternative approach is taken. Annual reports from 12 famous brand companies were analysed using a cash cycle calculation found in widely available publications. The use of fractions to derive each company's cash cycle is a useful way of hiding, normalizing, and comparing the numbers behind the calculation. The companies and the source of the technique remain undisclosed in order to avoid possible copyright infringements and, to be honest, so that you have an incentive in contacting me. The table shown should be considered as non-formal, pending a more thorough academic study. The results do show a rough order of magnitude, which is a valid technique used by many organizations. Negative cash-to-cash numbers are best if there is a balance between inventory, accounts payable, and accounts receivable figures. Company 5 appears to have a fantastic result, but the accounts payable days are used to balance off and provide liquidity for accounts receivable days and inventory days. Large organizations often have dedicated suppliers. High accounts payable will mean that the suppliers may not be able to operate as efficiently as suppliers in a competitive supply chain. So Company 5 could be hindering its own competitive advantage if it withholds payments to its suppliers. On the other hand, Company 4 has a cash cycle value of 19 that has lower inventory days and accounts payable days. They do appear to be much more efficient and effective. So, does your company lean towards Company 5 or Company 4 performance? How much more competitive do you think Company 4 is going to be versus Company 5? Can you afford to ignore this kind of concept?
There is a great deal written and implemented in support of the inbound supply chain, in particular purchasing and sourcing, and also in support of manufacturing, or more specifically master production scheduling, materials requirements planning, inventory control, and warehouse management. But there is far less written about the outbound supply chain. Is this because the outbound supply chain can be different from one company to another, even if they operate in the same industry sector? Or is it because finished goods management is considered to be a commercial strategic secret by each company? It is for reasons and questions like these that we at StuNet have chosen to focus on technical finished goods trading. In essence, technical finished goods have a wide range of specification and quality and cannot be readily traded over the counter. Even though StuNet's experience included implementing enterprise systems, StuNet's particular interest is to maximize profit from the global outbound supply chain. We will review your outbound supply chain and confirm if concepts developed by Stuart will be of benefit to your company. Where we find improvements, we will help you implement required changes. As mentioned on a previous slide, a content-rich, collaborative website supporting global technical finished goods trading has been created. In addition, a scheduling and payment tracking collaborative website for shared product services has also been created. So, for example, the schedule for an ocean-going heavy-duty transport ship could be shared to all customers around the globe. Stuart can help you formulate a prioritized and financed business IT strategy. We will help you deliver programs of work or deliver a project at a time. We can re-engineer processes using formal blue-chip consultancy methods and derive deliverables such as training materials or test scripts. If you have an existing software product that needs enhancing or you would like something new created, then Stuart has programming capability. We will work hard to ensure that business benefits are delivered in accordance with your project requirements. Thank you for taking the time to review this grassroots presentation about finished goods liquidity and why it is important to squeeze efficiency from the global outbound supply chain. Particular points from this presentation are to minimize the need for external liquidity, ensure there is maximum mobility and speed of finished goods to avoid selling aged stock. Managing liquidity via the cash cycle gives a competitive edge. There are no fixed rules when it comes to gaining competitive advantage through the outbound supply chain design. Anything goes. Stuart will provide a company-by-company approach to ensure any improvements meet the requirements of your business. If you would like further information about any of the concepts covered in this presentation, then please do not hesitate to contact Stuart Limited using the email address s.muscat@ntlworld.com. Thank you very much for your time today.